Hey everybody, thank you very much for inviting me to Traders Corner. My name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director at 10 Minute Trades, and I want to talk today about trading the news, which interestingly, in some ways, is probably the opposite of what Gary was talking about, fast markets. We actually like fast markets at 10 Minute Trades, but I agree with Gary. You got to be really careful about trading fast markets. And if you don't have good tools and if you don't have good software setups, you can run into lots of problems trading fast markets because you can get filled at the top of a candle or at the bottom of a candle right before an event or a news move changes direction. And we all know what that's like if you've ever traded news before. You want to try and maximize your fills, get filled in the best place, and the key is to have the best tools. So once again, my name is Lee Goldstein. I'm the trading director for 10 Minute Trades. Please remember that all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. It is possible to lose money trading futures. Trade carefully. The system we use, we're using the Ninja Trader platform, and we trade futures. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're not trading stocks. We're trading futures only, and we use the Ninja Trader platform, and it's built in. Our software becomes built into Ninja Trader. Okay? Any questions? I'm more than happy to answer questions as the webinar goes. Usually I'll wait till the end of the presentation, but if it's something really important, then I will break in and answer during the webinar. I don't mean really important, I mean really relevant to what I'm saying. So keep in mind, once more, we trade futures using the Ninja Trader platform. And we have a variety of different setups. Years ago, when news trading was called spike trading, it was called spike trading because that was pretty much the way that everybody traded news. You created a spike, you put your orders above the current price and below your current price. The news came out, it exploded, and you got pulled into the market, one direction or the other. And that's still a very, very popular way to trade. And some of our best trades are spike trades. And this is an advantage of what we mean in these days when we say spike trading. So these little X's would be our orders above the current price, which are the candles, and then below the current price, you'd be selling. Above the current price, you'd be buying the market. When a news event takes place, the market you're looking to trade will pop or it'll drop, and that's how you get pulled into the trade. And that, like I said, is what we call spike trading. But what we've learned over the years and through experience and studying events, recording events, and watching them over and over, we've realized that there's so many other ways to trade the news. Sometimes we'll go into our trade room and usually we'll spend about 30 to 40 minutes on a news event. We'll go into our trade room. We'll talk about the event. We'll watch videos, and we'll decide how we're going to trade. We'll go over our setups, which we release the day before most of the trades that we are going to take. And we look at the volatility, the current market, but we realized over the years that there's a lot going on besides just spikes. And we came up with a strategy called the magnet strategy. I'll go over that. All of these strategies certainly today, a little bit today. Trap trades, which is a specialized type of reversal. We have something we call exploding candle reversals, which it's interesting. They're less popular today than they used to be, but we also have reversals and continuations, which have become some of the most popular setups that we trade today. How many times have you watched a news event, the price bursts, and then 30 seconds later or a minute later, it starts moving in a complete opposite direction? And sometimes that opposite direction trade can be better than the original news trade itself. That happens. So there are lots of different opportunities besides just trading the spike. Also, with spikes, you can sometimes have too much slippage. Ironically, sometimes you can have positive slippage that gives you more money than you expect. But people don't realize that, and they think only slippage. Slippage is only negative, and that's not true. Slippage can be both negative and positive, but it sometimes can ruin a trade. So not trading on the spike can really let you take advantage of better fills and better setups. So, but we love, I have to say, it'll probably be forever. My favorite trades will probably always be a great spike trade because, I mean, look at the way we just recently traded Broadcom when they had their earnings. So, our whole system is based on research. Our system is not based on indicators as much as we are looking at Broadcom earnings. For instance, when I'm trading Broadcom, I have studied the past 2 years of Broadcom's earnings, and I've analyzed how they're moving the market every time that they release their earnings. And the ones that we trade, the events that we choose, are the events that consistently respond in the most similar way quarter after quarter when it comes to earnings, week after week when it comes to oil, gas reports, weekly reports, and month over month after month on most of the regular news reports. We study the event, we watch how they behave, and then we come up with a setup with our software to take advantage of what we feel will be the reports that have the most consistent behavior. So yes, we do have indicators. We look at highs and lows. We look at pivots. Hardly any of our indicators are custom because think about what news is. News is events that move the markets very quickly. Most indicators will never be able to keep up with those types of markets. Now, I totally relate to so many of the other vendors who really say, we don't like trading when the market is having news. But in these days, one of the best things you could do is learn what to do, certainly around the news. No, obviously, no one's going to make you trade at the exact moment that news is released. We happen to love those types of trades. But we realize one of the most important things we teach, and one of the most important things you can learn to keep yourself safe, is what to do around the news. Because let's be truthful here. We are living in an era of constant news markets. You never know when the next tweet is coming. You never know when the next appearance before a committee is happening. You never know when someone in the Fed is going to say something important. We're constantly being bombarded now with markets that are very volatile because they're responding to news. So we have quite a few setups that you can keep handy and always be ready to trade them, even if we are not your main trading system. So for a lot of folks out there, we really tell you, become a member of our service, learn what we do, and keep us in your back pocket. You don't have to be a news trader, but you can use a lot of what we do in addition to many of the other ways that you are trading. Now, obviously, we have many people that just love trading the news, and that's fine as well. So I was showing you how we traded, why I like breakouts, and this was a trade, the most recent Broadcom, which was the first week of June. This is not like a 100-year-old trade. So our software installs into NinjaTrader. It becomes part of the platform, and it allows us to put our orders on the chart before news comes out, and then when that news hits, watch what happens. So Broadcom had a burst down. We got filled to the short side, and then before the trade, by the time the trade was over, and it was over in a nanosecond, we had over $550 worth of profit. Those are my favorite, always will be my favorite trades. When you get a burst, before you even look up, the trade is over, and you've got a really nice profit in your account. But what's interesting, look at the reversal that took. Earnings very often do reverse because a lot of times what happens is the initial earnings report will come out. and then the company will start talking and they'll have a forecast and they'll have revenue, what's coming in the future, and that often makes the original burst change direction. So it's good to know that you have methods you can use to trade when a breakout is over. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about today. So spike trades, very, very popular. They'll always be popular. And like I said, we have a system, we have our software. Our software can automate, it can semi-automate, and our software can be used discretionary as well. Discretionary really means you decide when to enter, you decide when to exit. Automation obviously means the software is putting the trades on for you. And then one of the more popular styles of trading is semi-automated, where we use the software to put the orders on the charts because the markets are starting to speed up and get volatile, particularly around very important news. You don't want to be fumbling around trying to put your orders in a bracket or above and below a certain area. It's really nice if you can use the software to automate the tricky parts of trading. So that's the great thing about having news trading software. And our software has a lot of different setups. But like I've said, the breakout will probably always be the most popular setup. And we had some great ones in June. We had Broadcom, NVIDIA, another great one. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking. I don't want to be anywhere near the market when NVIDIA is going to release their earnings. And again, NVIDIA is one of those companies we study how their earnings work. We know the time of day that NVIDIA releases their earnings. We know that NVIDIA is one of those companies that's reliable about the time that they do release their earnings. In other words, if there's a company and one quarter they release their earnings at 4:20 p.m. and the next quarter they release their earnings at 4:27 p.m. and the next quarter they release their earnings at 6 p.m., we don't trade those earnings normally. You could trade around those earnings and that's fine. And we do have setups you can use, but we gravitate towards the reliable setups because they can also be traded around. We love the companies that when they release their earnings every quarter, they release them at a very similar time every quarter, each quarter after each quarter. NVIDIA fits that bill. They release their earnings at 4:20, usually a couple of seconds after that Eastern time. It allows us to bracket to trade. And again, we had a really nice explosion down. We got filled short on NVIDIA, even though ultimately it wound up being a long trade. But you could see our fill was almost before the news really even had a serious impact on the market. NVIDIA stock was up significantly after their last earnings. But we made money because when the earnings were initially released, there was a big burst to the downside right at 4:20 in a couple of seconds, and that's the move that we took advantage of. And then we were pretty much done. That trade for us was over. And that also was a very, very profitable trade. That was over $1,000 in a nanosecond trading NVIDIA. And once again, that was a breakout. Then prior to that, I believe it was the first week of the month, we always have the U.S. jobs report, NFP. NFP, I've been trading with 10-minute trades for more than 7 years. We've been trading NFP since the day I got here. It's definitely one of my favorite trades. It's definitely one of the most volatile trades because it's an event that the market is always concentrating on. It's been a breakout trade for almost 8 years. It lets us put our orders on the chart. All right, and we trade prop, we trade cash. We have members trading all the normal ways that people trade. These days, I would say 80% of people are trading using prop firms. And the NFP there are more than one way that you could trade that report. We had a bond setup on the right, and that was a breakout. But our main setup on the NFP is our gold setup. And gold had a big explosion to the downside. Our stop was big enough to survive the chop up and down, and we had a very, very nice profit, over $500 trading the jobs report on gold. And then again, the first week of the month, a report most people don't even know about it, haven't even heard of it. It's called the ADP report. There's a company called Automated Data Processing, and what they do is they create the payrolls for lots of corporations. So they're privy to not inside information on jobs, but they have a lot of information on how the job market is because they create a report that explains how the job market is because they're doing payroll taxes for large companies. And very often their report moves the market. That's also a gold trade, gold futures. Notice we were also looking at the ES way on the right here, and that event also can move the ES futures. And that was a really fantastic gold trade for us. And it shows off some of the very cool features in our software. So it was a traditional breakout in the sense that the news came out and it burst, okay? And it burst immediately into a profit. With fast moving events, you want to have the ability to do something to your stop if your trade moves quickly and gives you a large profit. We talked about how news events can reverse. So you don't want to always just leave your stop sitting at its highest level of risk. Sometimes you'll want the software to automatically move your stop if you've hit a target or two, so that if an event reverses and looks like it's going to stop you out of the trade, your stop is now moved into safety, and it will protect some of your profit if the trade completely reverses. Our software has the ability to automatically move your stop in many different ways. We can move our stop when a target is hit. We can move our stop if the second target is hit. We can trade obviously more than one position. We can trail our stops in our software. We can manually move our stops. And in the ADP trade, what I like to do in a lot of fast moving trades is we have a feature called Target One Stop Move. And that Target One Stop Move feature, if the trade hits your first target, it just simply moves your stop to break even or wherever you want it to move. You could move it to break even minus 3 ticks, meaning move it 3 ticks before break even, move it 10 ticks before break even, so that if there is a small reversal, your stop doesn't get touched, and then the trade sometimes goes back in the direction you were filled, so you can keep getting profit. Watch what happened in the ADP report. I used the feature Target One Stop Move. The software is going to move my stop to safety above, very close to where I entered when my first target was hit. Right there. Watch. Here's my first target. Here's our entry. Now the stop moved up to a little bit below entry. And now what I can do is manually move my stop. I can trail it as the price is going up, and up, because NinjaTrader has chart trading capability. So I can expand my target, which I did on this particular trade. And then I also was able to move my stop up and keep making profit. When you get a market gift, and a market gift to us is when it hits your first target and then it just keeps moving in your direction, allowing you to easily manually trail your stop as the price goes up. Those are beautiful market gifts. And that happens, believe it or not, more than you can imagine. Market gifts are something you always want to try and take advantage of. So that ADP was also a great breakout. So, I just want to stress breakouts are great. We have a system. Our system is made up of 4 important elements: the weekly schedule, daily trade reports, The day before we're trading some of the important events that we trade, we send our members, we call it the DMM. It's a daily trade report, and it has information on how we're going to set up a trade. And when I show, for instance, some of our videos, it has the DMMs in it, but I could show you a quick DMM. I should have it in this setup. But for now, let me keep going. I'll pull up a DMM in a moment. So one of the things you have to think about is how are we going to find the trades to pick? We use the various calendars that are out there. Forex Factory is one of the calendars we use. You just go to forexfactory.com, click on the word calendar, and you get a full week of events that you can comb through, look for events that you think might move the markets. Now, obviously, we've been doing that for years, so we know the events that are going to move the markets, and that's what we put on our schedule, the events we are going to trade for the upcoming week. This is a sample of an existing schedule. And you know what? Let me show you this week's actual schedule. I just finished it. It's actually an interesting week. We've got, I think Juneteenth is this week. In fact, I'm positive. And so it's a little bit unusual schedule this week. And it's a good thing to know. You want to know when things are not normal. I'm sorry, this is me being goofy. You want to know when things are not normal. And this week, things are not normal in the sense that because there's a holiday on Thursday, natural gas is trading on Wednesday. So that's important to know. If you happen to be a natural gas trader and you're not paying attention to the schedule and the news releases, you could try to trade the natural gas report the wrong day. And that happens. People do it and they lose money because they're doing everything according to an incorrect schedule. But we notate on our weekly schedule, and our weekly schedule is free. You could go to our website, just www.10minutetrades.com, and opt in for our video, how to find your own free 10-minute trades, and we'll send you the schedule. But on our weekly schedule, we show when we're going to be in the trade room. We show the events we're going to trade, what time they're taking place, the instrument we're thinking of trading, and sometimes that can change when we get to the trade room. And also, we just let people know some of the events we're just watching. We're not necessarily trading them. Some events might have liquidity issues. Sometimes we'll make that people aware of that. And we also stream on YouTube 3 to 4 times a week usually, and we put that schedule on our weekly schedule. So 4 elements that make up our system: the weekly schedule, daily trade reports, trade room access, and our software. And our software, we call it News Trader. We also have 3 strategies that make up our software: the News Trader Suite, the Magnet Trade, and the Trap Trade. Our software is a custom add-on to NinjaTrader. Like I said, it has multiple setups. You can automate your trade entries, targets, and stops. And it's also a super ATM program, meaning you don't have to program the language. You know how most platforms have a programming language built in, and if you want to control your trade, move your stop, trail your stop, have your orders appear on the charts. You have to learn their programming language. Well, not with us. Our software, you just put numbers in, and in our trade room, we go over how to set everything up in our software, so when that breakout comes, or when you're getting ready to do a reversal, you're ready to do it and you're all set to go. So there are multiple categories that create these moves in the markets, but there's 3 very popular categories: high impact economic reports like jobs reports, GDP reports. Category 2 are the big company earning reports. And in category 3, you might have markets open and closes. You might have instrument opens and closes, like the gold open, the oil open. All of those events will trigger news. There are literally hundreds of these triggers, and we use our expertise of studying all of these events over the years to come up with the best ones to trade. The absolute best of the best ones we call our family money trades. So our family money trades are reports that we trade over and over and over, and they have an extremely high success rate. And we show that on our schedule. So for instance, this week's schedule has a report that's called the NOPA Crush Report. No one even heard of that report. I'd say 1 out of 100 traders might even know what that is. But we make money on that report, and it's a family money trade for us. And it's coming up Monday, so we have a trade room for that trade, and we will teach all of our members how to take that trade in our trade room on Monday. And it's very easy to do. This is not something you have to dedicate your whole life to doing. I will say something that is extremely important, though. There is no way to get around putting time in to learn. It's if you think it's easy to take money from the market, then you're not going to do well trading. It is not easy. Nobody's going to hand money to you on a platter. The traders that put their time in and learn how to do whatever system they're trading, those traders are going to succeed and do the best. If you're signed up for one of our webinars and you want to learn how to trade the news, I highly recommend that you just put some time in, learn the methods, learn how to use some of the tools that we offer, learn about market playback in NinjaTrader. You can replay trades over and over. Learning the tools will make you a successful trader when you put in the time. There are many prop companies that allow news trading. Some of them don't. So you want to just pay attention to the rules that the prop accounts have. And currently, many of our members are using Bullinox, they're using Lilu, they're using Take Profit Trader, and they're using Apex. And a lot of those companies do allow news. They have strict rules, and you have to follow their rules. Now, I wanted to talk about after the breakout. What if testing shows that breakouts aren't working? What do? Because years ago, like I said, if the spikes weren't working, you kept trying the spikes over and over and over. We now have setups that we call trap trades. Trap trades are reports that we look at that we have realized these particular reports are reversing in a controlled manner all the time, not all the time, but regularly. So we've been trading, for instance, the FOMC statement, which is pretty incredible when you think about it. The FOMC statement has become for us what we call a trap trade. So what do we mean? Last FOMC, and it's appropriate because this week is an FOMC statement. We have vetted more than a year and a half of FOMC statements, and almost all of them have been trap trades. What that means is instead of doing a breakout, it's almost like the opposite. We put 2 orders above the current price, 2 orders below the current price, but instead of buying the market when it goes up, we sell the market when it goes up, and we would buy the market when it goes down. In May, what happened was it chopped around for a few seconds, then it burst up, filled us short, immediately reversed. We were in the trade with a huge profit, and we were able to exit the trade with almost $800 in profit. Then, after that trade was over, the market was showing that it was looking very seriously like a short market was going to take place. And we were able to make the same amount of money on a reversal, what we call a reversal continuation trade. It's either a reversal or a continuation. In this case, because it's a trap trade, we're just calling it a trend trade after the news. But I put on a short trade. We look at levels on the charts that we call magnets. Magnets are levels that get tested over and over and over. They're often highs and lows. They're important pivots. VWAPs are magnets. Well, after important news, very often magnets get tested. After that FOMC trade, we noticed that it really looked like the low of the day was going to get tested, and we started trading towards the low of the day on the ES. And exactly what we thought happened. But the point is not whether we're right or wrong. The point is we have a tool that in a minute lets you have in your arsenal a very simple trade to follow a trend. It's like putting on a simple scalp trade, but it has safety built in. It has a stop built in. It has targets built in. You can use all the features of our spike trading. You can move your software, your stop, if the first target is hit. You could move your stop to safety. But it's a completely different method of trading around the news. Because remember, the breakout, whatever happened when the news was released, was now over. We were a couple of minutes after the news and we were talking in the room and we were waiting to see if any opportunities presented themselves. And it's exactly what happened. And of course, you could trade micros, you could trade full-sized instruments. We traded what we call a continuation trade. The market started moving down. It was a high probability it would test the low, and we took that trade. But most importantly, we had a tool in our toolbox called the continuation that we could set up before the trade, which is the way to do it, before the news, so that if the trend gets created by the news, we can take advantage of it by just clicking a button to turn the trade on. A reversal continuation trade is a discretionary trade that can be semi-automated. Semi-automated because you can move your stop to safety, but the trade is actually turned on with a simple button, the instant short or the instant long button. If we see a market that looks like it's going to test a magnet, then we have reversals and continuations to take advantage of that. And I explained what our trap trade was, a reversal trade, reversal continuations, and then one of our favorite setups is the magnet trade. So to understand what a magnet trade is, you first have to understand what a magnet is. So let me just go back to that FOMC video. Is a great video for showing what a magnet is. Or I'll show you something else also. I was going over, we were in the trade room yesterday morning, and we were getting ready to trade the University of Michigan, which is a pretty popular report. It's a inflation report and a consumer confidence report. And I was in the room. Gold was very bullish. It was up like $60. And if you notice, we have a green line on the chart, which you can put on your charts for free. Most of the magnets that we use are free. They're part of NinjaTrader. We teach you how to use them, how to put them on your charts. It simply was the high of day. We felt the market had just opened. Gold was really, it was so bullish. It was up $60, which is a lot. We decided before we even started trading University of Michigan, I was going to throw a trade on just for a test of the high of the day. That is a magnet trade. And years ago, we used to see these tests being made all the time. Before news, after news, we noticed the high of day was constantly being tested. The low of day was constantly being tested, and there it is being tested. And we wanted to set up a strategy that would exit trades at the magnet. So keep in mind, what's a magnet? A magnet is an exit at a level on a chart that thousands of traders are looking at, the same levels. So tons of orders are placed around those magnets, and they literally suck the price into them. And that's what you're taking advantage of. You're taking advantage of the price being pulled into magnets and exiting when you get to the magnet. So we created a strategy called the magnet strategy. It's a standalone. It's really a great strategy for prop because it's very rule oriented. It constantly works the same way over and over and over. You have some very important magnets that work all the time. The ones that we concentrate on are the highs of days and the lows of days. And our magnet setup is actually an automated, it can be a fully automated trade where we put an entry on the chart prior to the magnet level, and we can press a button to put the trade in auto mode, and then it will just trade the magnet trade on its own. And you can create an exit right at the magnet a couple of ticks before the magnet, and you can add another position so that if it bursts through the magnet, which often happens, you make a new high, and then it keeps making multiple new highs. So you might sometimes want to trade if it keeps going. And our magnet strategy allows for that as well. So let me just show you a couple of magnets so you could see what I'm talking about, because sometimes it's hard to understand. So here was another magnet looking at gold. And I happened to be in my prop account. I think I was not in the room at this time. I was just looking at the markets. I didn't even have my strategies up yet. But this is how our strategy was invented. We noticed these magnets pull price. And watch the beauty of magnets. They chop a little bit sometimes, so stop size is important. But watch what happens. They often do the same thing over and over. They explode up to the magnet. So our magnet strategy allows us to create a strategy that will exit at the magnet. A couple of ticks before is what I like to do, and also exit after it goes through the magnet. That's very important. Now here's a magnet for natural gas. So we were trading natural gas that morning. The way, again, that our strategy works, we have a button that if you press it, it turns the magnet strategy into an automated system. And it says magnet automatic. And you can decide to go long only, short only, just by turning on long or short. And let's say one of the most common things that happens, maybe you're watching a market. Maybe a piece of news just came out, or maybe a tweet said, now's a great time to get into the markets, right? And the markets start moving up, moving up, moving up. You've got a magnet trade set up to go long, but you want to get in before the magnet actually gets hit. Your order gets hit. We have an enter now button. So if you want to enter the trade early, you could just press enter now and it'll put you in the market before you get to the magnet. Very, very good for news trading, because we just see so many times we're trading a setup, something gets spoken, and the opportunity is there to get in early. But here is a typical magnet trade. Our orders are put on the chart, those little X's that you are familiar with in NinjaTrader. The thick, heavy line is where our software tells you to enter the trade before it gets to the magnet. And when you get to that thick, heavy line, you get entered in, and then you just can watch. You don't even have to do anything. It can be fully automated. You know, you want to have a good stop so that if it chops around a little bit, the trade stays and continues. You give it some room to move. And then magnets, they just constantly do that kind of behavior. It's so common. And that is one of the main ways that people are trading with us today. So we can scalp safely with these setups, reversals, continuations, magnets, trap trades. All of these setups help you to trade the news. We can trade at the exact moment of the news, around the news. And keep in mind, if you're not a news trader and you want to have these tools in your pocket, you can use them for any kind of trading, any kind of discretionary trading. Obviously, you don't have to be a news trader to use our software. And we have many people that use our software that don't trade the news. And we also, like I showed you in the beginning, we invented what I think is a unique way to trade earnings. I've never seen anyone trade selected stock earnings the way that we do. We pick the best of the best earnings reports, the ones that we feel will move the most and in the most reliable manner, and we trade futures on those stock earnings. And we teach our members how to do it. And I showed you at the beginning of this webinar how to make money and how it's possible to make money trading earnings. This was one of our members who made $920 trading Amazon at the moment of the earnings. It's our favorite way to trade earnings. So here's the deal, folks. Before my time expires, man, the time goes fast. I want to thank you all very much for listening to me. I really appreciate being invited here by Traders Corner. So thanks for having me. And I just want to make an awesome deal for everyone. I know everyone thinks that everybody's a scam and everybody's full of it. We want to give you an offer to try out our system for just $20.25. Take our 30-day trial. You're going to learn millions of dollars worth of knowledge. You're going to learn everything that we do. You can use everything that we offer to our pro members. You can use our software for the month. You can come into our trade room. You could get our reports, and you can be taught by me in the trade room. You can ask questions. Nothing is limited in our trial. You get our software. You get access to our daily trade reports. Our daily trade reports explain how we're going to trade many of the events that we trade in our room. To us, these reports and to our members are worth thousands of dollars. You can get also our trade room subscription. You'll know when we're going to be in our trade room, right? Because we're going to send you our weekly schedule. Our weekly schedule obviously is also posted on our website. We have a special area, the trade room lobby. You know in advance when you're going to be trading with us, so you can schedule everything you do according to the weekly schedule. You'll get full access to all of our strategies, the trap trade, reversal continuations, our news trader suite. Okay, you can trade any way that you want. You can trade in a prop account, you can trade in a cash account, and I love discretionary cash trading. It's still a great way to trade where no one makes you break any rules or bend to their will. If you become a good trader, you make your own rules and you take your money out when you have successful trades. So for just $20.25, it renews automatically after 30 days at $97 a month. That's our pro membership. All you have to do to cancel is send us an email, help@10minutetrades.com. Just say, hey, this isn't for me. I don't want to stay, and we'll cancel your account. Many people stay with us. The knowledge alone is really, really valuable. This offer will expire Sunday, tomorrow night at midnight. Just go to www.gopro25.com to take advantage. It's a fantastic offer. We really feel, and it's proven to us, if we give you a chance to check us out, you'll stay with us. We have very happy members who love learning about the markets and love learning about trading when the markets are volatile, because they're very often volatile. So just take advantage of it. It's only $25.25. There's nothing hidden. There's no extra charges. www.gopro25.com, and you will get everything that we offer in our pro membership, which is what all of our members are involved in. The News Trader software suite, the Magnet Trade. I will teach what we mean by appointment-based trading. We're trading on a schedule. Earnings trade rooms. Choose the news events that you should trade, not the ones that aren't working well, they aren't performing well. How to choose which earnings trades to take. And important, trade on a schedule. I will teach you step by step in our rooms. And folks, we also have something we call our family money trades, our best of the best setups. Those are the ones that regularly are being successful trades. Now look, obviously not every trade is going to be a winner, but you want to trade the best of the best. So that's our offer for today. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Just $20.25, www.gopro25.com. Expires tomorrow night, folks. And thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time. And hopefully I'll see some of you this week in our trade room. Okay, back to you all.
Excellent presentation. A news-based system that works in real time, just what traders need in today's market. Check out the chat for Lee's offer, and make sure to look at his website.